there and you're just going to put S ... You probably ain't going to get on the show. I'm not going to lie. Like, we're going to have to go with a little more than just a letter and a few dots. But if anyone from the community wants to come and join us, please do so. We're going to cut back to Uber Fuber in a minute or two once he's Googled some stuff. I did it to the poor Kaza earlier as well. She was doing her job absolutely fabulously, and I pulled her in, and she was completely taken sideways. So,
they don't need to ask me any questions. They might just want to talk about their opinion
100%.
on it, because I've probably said everything that they
That's
don't
okay.
need to ask any
That's
questions.
okay. We've got Kiwi, one of our known community members too. Kiwi, you there, my G?
I've probably said everything.
You're gonna have to mute your TV, Kiwi. You're gonna have to mute your TV.
Hold on.
All right. What I'm gonna do?
Yes,
You're there. Okay. Yeah. Just be ready in the waiting room. If you're coming into the waiting room, just be ready for your name to be called. Yeah. But Kiwi, how are you? How are you, Kiwi? You got a question, or have you got a point you want to put across for Louise?
I did. As soon as I came in, you didn't listen. So when you are on TV, it's not 30-second delay. It's a minute or two delay.
All right, all right. You can bust my chops afterwards, Kiki. You know you're one of the crew. You can bust my chops after. I get it. I'm sorry.
I don't, because my microphone was on when I don't know I was even being brought in. Anyways, hello. I just wanted to take the devil's advocate from the woman's side. Like, I'm a big fan of RUSSEL brand.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to say that I truly believe that most men in their 20s are still very immature. And I think... So
he was 30.
He was 30, yeah, okay.
Yep. Was he 30?
Yeah, he was early 30s.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just saying that my experience is that most men don't mature until their 30s, and they don't. It's often having a baby that is a big life changer. Like
that's no excuse for treating someone badly. My brother would, in any age, would ever treat a woman like that.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm sure Ron wouldn't either.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But that doesn't
Kiki,
make them.
what's interesting about what's interesting about what you said there, right? Was you said that most men mature then, and when you were telling your story about how he was clean, he was drinking these herbal teas, all of that, could that not have been seen as maturing by stepping away from the substances?
Oh, not necessarily. Not necessarily. I guess I'm just trying to say that I think that having a baby can completely change
I
your
agree.
capability of, and I think that we got to give him the benefit of the doubt that maybe he has changed, and that, you know, a lot, that he's coming from a place of love now. I have no idea if that means he was a essayer, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying.
Of course, yeah. No, I agree. I see what you're saying. Basically, what you're saying is people are capable of change. For yourself, you're giving them the benefit of the doubt that humans can move on from bad periods in their life. And I imagine Louise is going to be like, no, narcissists can't change, and that's okay too. So I just want to say,
I'd love to believe that. I would love to believe that.
Yeah.
I don't believe it, really.
But that's okay. And Kiki, I just want to say thank you for joining us. We'll definitely be pulling you back in again, but thank you for your time. I'm going to go and grab KLG now, but thank you very much, Kiki. We'll speak to you again soon. KLG, are you there?
Hello.
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 How are you? You're live on the channel right now. We're here with Louise. We're obviously talking about the Russell Brand case. What's your take on all this, the interview or just the case in general?
It's a difficult one because it was so long ago, and he was a different person. You can see he's a different person. But people complaining that why have these people waited so long also to report him also gets to me, because as someone that's been through something it took me a long time to even
Mm.
say the words. So it's a difficult one for me to process, really.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, everyone grows, everyone changes. You know, when we were younger, we all got up to stuff, you know. But
Mm.
it's just, yeah, I'm torn.
Yeah, it's an interesting one when we get like we get very much delving into the hopes that people can change. But just to sort of
Yeah.
paint a very dull picture, there's been multiple celebrities, multiple YouTubers, multiple people in the public eye who are a shining penny from what we see, the viewer, the regular person. But from behind the scenes, there can be something very different going on. And I would like to think I would like to be, you know, exactly what Louise was saying. She would love to think that that could happen and be true. But you have to understand that we've never seen the side of Russell that Louise has seen. We've not seen
No, that's right.
that moment. And that is what makes this interview so fascinating, because all of us.
Can I just say?
Yeah.
Can I just say, I believe that everyone that's born is like innocent, and I think he was an innocent little boy, and I know he went through horrible times when he was young, and I think it unfortunately made him into a narcissist. And I think the horrible time, the traumatic times he went through when he was younger, from what I've heard, then no wonder. So I don't blame him for that.
And also, drugs don't help. They don't
No.
help. But in that moment, people don't realise that until afterwards, until they look back.
Yeah, exactly. He might have been on drugs. If these things did happen, he might have been on drugs at the time, because he didn't do to me what allegedly he did to these women. So that might have been the case.
You know, not that excuses his behaviour, but it definitely, you know, it could have contributed to it if this did happen.
Yeah, if it was you know, something that happened when he was under the influence, it's not an excuse, but it's at least we know
he might not remember it because he was under the influence, you know.
That's
true too.
You
That's
just don't know.
100% true. Yeah. And you know, I think when we talk about things in this, we're making assumptions here, but it's not what we're saying is far-fetched. It is a reality that if you are, and again, don't be naive enough to think what we're saying is drugs are an excuse, right? That you're better than that, side chat. But it's a point of discussion about how a situation happens, because there's a difference between an opportunistic R-worder and serial R-worder and substance fueled R-worder. There's a difference between them all. They're all still horrible individuals and horrible things that have happened, but it's a
Can I just make a point as well?
Yes.
Did anyone read, whether I'm right, about the 16-year-old girl that he was, you know, that he used to, that there was in the paper about 16, I think she was 16, that he, you know, essayed, and she was very traumatized by it, and he used to get taxis from, I think the BBC used to get taxis to drive her to his house, and that troubled me, that story of that young girl, because if he was he must have been in his 30s, like mid to late 30s at the time. So that's quite troubling.
Can I get one of the mods to look for that online and DM that to me, please? Because I've not read that, and I would very much like to see that. Not to check your facts, because I believe what you're saying. But
I definitely remember that story.
Yeah, man. Like
Gillian's just said I sound posh.
You do.
Yeah, you do.
You're very well spoken, KLG. You're very well spoken.
Against my Essex twang.
Love it, right? Love it. It's a good mix of accents here this evening. But KLG, thank you for your points, and I'm going to pop you back into the. In fact, no, KLG, you can just stay there.
I want to make everyone aware. I'm not excusing the whole thing with drugs at all. Not at all.
No, I know.
I'm just saying it could have been a factor.
Listen, there's a certain level of person that doesn't understand the finer the finer intricacies of a discussion. They hear words and then they hear what we're talking about, and in their head, what it gets jumbled up into is they are saying this is a reason and an excuse. We're not. We're talking about a roadmap of someone's
it's good to
mind.
have a different angle on it, because none of us know. We weren't in the room when these things supposedly happened. So it's good to have all angles to try and work out. Well, we're trying to work out whether it's true or not. We won't know, will we, until whether he's
well, I'll be honest with you,
or not.
It is more than capable that somebody who is an incredible person had a period in their life where they were a different person on substances. I've done multiple investigations into people who use substances to justify horrible things that the people that it happened to see it as abuse and a horrific trauma, but the person doing it, well, it's like, well, it wasn't me. And they can genuinely disconnect from that. And I've witnessed it as an investigator. So the concept of somebody being on something, doing something, and then not even acknowledging it as a crime, and then years later, the confidence in that victim coming forward is an entirely plausible situation. It is. I'm not saying this is what's happened. I'm just giving a possible analogy.
I just remembered something.
I do get that too.
Yeah, on you go, Louise.
Oh, I just remembered that the story that when it first came out about these women accusing him, I think the young girl, the 16-year-old girl, and another girl who claimed, I think it was an American girl who accused him of the R word. They both said that he got these sort of funny eyes. His eyes went black when he was doing the act, and they sort of like got these shark psychopathic eyes, which I thought was a bit scary. But that's a well-known thing that narcissists get when they're doing horrible things.
Yeah,
I remember that as well. I'm not imagining this. I hope I'm not imagining these stories, but I do remember reading this.
No, I think Max actually found it, but he's posted it in the side chat, so I'm just waiting on him DMing me it over. Thank you very much, Mac. I appreciate you. And we'll take a look at that.
I'm sure you and Sean will go back to all these the stories in the papers of the women that.
Well, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. I've not seen this, so this is very much. Ron wants to take a look-see-loo here, so let's pull this over.
It's quite shocking, that case with the young girl. That upset me a bit when I read that.
Okay, when was this? This was only a couple of years ago. Calls grow to release age of consent laws after Russell Brand allegations. Women who allege star essayed her when she was 16 for debate about staggered ages of consent. There are growing calls for laws on social norms around the age of consent to be reassessed after allegations that Russell Brand essayed a 16-year-old when he was in his 30s. The alleged victim, who told the Sunday Times that Brand had a 3-month relationship with her that started in 2006, has called for a debate around staggered ages of consent. Speaking on the BBC4 Women's Hour this week, the woman known by the alias Alice said it was time to start thinking about change. The law on staggered ages of consent, there's a reasonable argument that individuals between 16 and 18 can have relationships with people within the same age bracket, she said, adding that there should be a way to prevent older adults from exploiting 16 and 17-year-olds. You're allowed to make mistakes as a teenager. They should be with, your own age group. Other comments have come from Brand was accused of RSA and emotional abuse over a 7-year period at the height of his fame after an investigation by the Times and Sunday Times Channel 4 dispatches. Brand denies these allegations. Alice alleges that on one occasion during a relationship, Brand, then 31, forced his area into her mouth, making her choke, and he only stopped when she punched him in the stomach. Now, that's quite interesting. That's horrific. But one of the charges was of forced oral, right? I think that is one of the charges.
Yeah. So, I don't think we can talk about whether that's related.
Okay. Yeah. No, we can't talk about that. Okay. So we've looked at that. You can make your own analogy, people. But again, that is very, very, very serious stuff. When we're talking about,
she must have been. She's a child at 16, right?
Yeah.
She's like a baby, isn't she? It's quite sad, that story, if it's true.
Well, it's accusations, and there's things that are possibly, you know, looking like they're similar in what we were talking about earlier. And
I mean, it would be different. It would be different if he was like 17 or something, but he was like in his 30s.
yeah,
So
100%.
it's very much a power thing, isn't it? It's like he had the power in that relationship, didn't he? So,
yeah, I agree. Well, let's talk about that for a second. Let's talk about that for a second, Louise. Let's talk about power dynamics in this situation, because that's a massive part in this, because you said yourself, treated badly, you didn't really do anything to make it up to you. The best you got was, you know, a taxi.
It sounds so pathetic. I sound like a right idiot.
But you're 23 and you've been sucked in by this allure and this.
But what's sad is I can't remember anything nice apart from that.
But you're being honest, Louise, right? I mean, you're not sitting here lying to us. You're giving us an honest rendition. And don't get me wrong, I imagine as soon as we've ended this conversation, you'll be like, oh, wait, actually, there was this or there was that, or you might remember more negative things. But the picture.
I remember I used to like give him little presents and things, and he'd never do anything like that for me. Wow. I remember I knitted him a jumper. I gave him a jumper I knitted, and I gave him a book, like this romance book that I thought he was like the what's the word, the hero in it. And oh god, it's so pathetic, Ron.
Well, no, but it's painting the picture of how besotted you were, which makes an understanding for why you tolerated this. Do you see what I'm saying? Because it's important that you put those facts over, because a lot of people, and again, I want to reiterate, there's no substances involved in this. And we're talking about a young girl who definitely got sucked into all this. 23 years old, argue it's an adult, she knew what she was doing, blah, blah, blah. What did she expect? It's Russell Brand. You can say all that is fine. But not everyone has the same mind as you when you're 23. Some people genuinely have the rose-tinted glasses on and go through life until they sadly learn a harsh lesson, or some of the lucky ones meet the right person and live a happy life. But a lot of the time, the lone wolf monsters of the world can smell that vulnerability and they go in for it. And I'm not necessarily talking about Russell Brand here, just to be clear, but when it comes to the individuals that can seek that out, it is hard.
Oh, I just feel quite emotional about that girl now. Now I remember that story about the 16-year-old. It makes me feel so sad.
Yeah.
Because that's going to damage. If that actually happened, that's really going to damage her for the rest of her life.
100%.
She'd need a lot of therapy after that.
I just want to say, Cats, you're the next one I'm going to pull in, and I'm giving you about 30 seconds after I got slapped on the live stream by Kiwi there. So I'll pull you in about. In fact, can you turn your mic on so that I know you've heard me? That's what we're going to do. Turn your mic on and
Ron,
off.
I have to go. I have to go in about 10 minutes.
That's right. Yeah, no problem. And I just want to say, Louise, you've done amazing. Before you go, then, before I pull anybody in.
Nice to meet you, Louise.
Oh, you too.
Before I pull anybody else in, is there anything that you want to put out there? Let's give you the time. If there's anything else you want to say, or advice you want to put out, let us hear it.
Me, you talking to?
Yeah, Louise. Yeah.
Oh, right. I don't know. From what I've just said, really, is that my takeaway from it is that people should learn about narcissism, because it really is. It really does damage. Having relationships with narcissists does damage a lot of it damages a lot of people, and people need to clue up on it, and so they know the signs, and to protect themselves from any sort of relationships they might encounter with a narcissist.
Yeah.
God, I sound like I'm obsessed with narcissism.
No, you don't. And you know what? I think this is an interesting point, because a lot of people are thinking that maybe I'm being a bit insensitive when I have these discussions, because no, let me finish. Because of it, sometimes it can sound like I'm discounting or I'm weakening a story just because it's taken so long for someone to report it. And I just want to say, In no way, shape, or form am I in any way telling anyone there's a time period on when you can come to terms on what has happened to you. When an individual like Russell Brand, who we've seen for years, has been targeted by an establishment because of his views, and I don't mean that from a conspiracy point of view. We read the letter out on the previous show where parliament leaders were trying to get him deplatformed by writing to social media giants. So it's not a case of this being a normal situation. There's other factors in here that create doubt that have been put there by the government that is in place. This has happened over years. It doesn't happen overnight. If we're going to start being criticized now for questioning the narrative we see in the news, where do we go from here? We have to look at all angles in a respectful manner and be allowed to engage in conversation that may have a topic or a narrative that sounds insensitive. But if you're not going to ask the tough questions, you're not going to find the answers. So I want to apologize to anyone who misconstrued that for insensitivity. Thank you.
I don't think anyone would, Ron. Like, everyone knows.
No, I'm talking directly
really
to the people in the side chat that have just said that. So, okay.
Can I just make a point? Can I just make one more point?
Yes.
Just because I personally think he's a narcissist doesn't mean he hasn't done good work. I know he's done. I don't know for certain, but I think he's done a lot of charities. He's obviously this big truth seeker, which I admire. And it doesn't mean whether that's for just nefarious reasons on his part, it doesn't mean he can't do good for the world, kind of thing. So it's very confusing, I think, to a lot of people, because it does show that he's done a lot of good, and if he has done a lot of good, then that's brilliant. It's just well,
here's the other side of the coin, though. Really. Here's the other side of the coin. That was a wonderful statement, but let me throw the spanner in the works. We could argue that is manifestation of guilt, trying to really lay it on thick. It could be. It could not be.
Yeah, but then again, even if it is for bad reasons, if he's done good, he's done good. If he's done helped people, he's helped people. You can't change that.
That's okay. Yeah, 100%. If he's reformed, you mean? Yeah, I imagine you mean in that.
I don't mean reformed. I just mean whether someone's done something good for someone for bad reasons. If they've done good for someone, they've done good. They've helped that person.
Yeah.
It might only be because he's doing it for praise.
Okay, I'm with you. That makes sense.
He's done good things, but it doesn't stop him from doing bad things as well, does it?
Sure. No, 100%. 100%. And I think your take on this has been really balanced and true. It's your story. And, you've had a lot of positive feedback in the side chat from everybody. If anything, they've been punching me severely because they think I've been insensitive.
Oh, no.
But it's okay. I can take it. Listen, I'm not here to pretend like I'm not going to ask what I'm going to ask. And some people question why I go down the roads I do, or I question the way I do. Just my process, guys.
Because you're like a journalist, aren't you? You've got to ask these questions. Otherwise, it would be an echo chamber, wouldn't it? And it can't be.
Yeah, 100%. And I think sometimes you need to ask the questions to get to the truth. Now, listen, we are approaching an hour and a half. I know that you are now really pushed for time, Louise. Do you want to cut it there? And we'll all just.
I've got another 5 minutes.
Okay, brilliant.
If anyone does want to ask a question.
Okay. Well, what I'll do is I'm going to pull Katz in and see if she's there. Katz, are you there? No, she's. Are you there, Katz? Yeah, 100%. And I think just pause your TV for us.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Katz. If you can just pause your TV for us, that would be great.
Yeah. Done.
Wicked. How are you doing? You're live on the Sean Atwood Show with Louise and myself. Is there a point or a question you'd like to put across? Louise has only got about 5 minutes, so we need to be aware of that. But anything you want to put out there?
Hi. Oh my God. Oh my God. So I just want to say big healing vibes to Azria.
Yeah, 100%.
Before I start thinking of her, obviously. But Russell Brand. So I was just thinking about the context of 20 years ago, in terms of the TV shows that were on, like The Word, TGI Fridays with Chris Evans, and things like shows that were on, culturally, like Sex and the City and all that stuff. It was all very ladette culture and stuff,
Yeah,
So
100%.
I think just thinking about in terms, I'm not defending him, but you know, just thinking about the cultural context, you know. But yeah, I just think he's very. I always got the impression that he was quite sort of sleazy, you know, kind of sleazy vibes, slimy.
I mean, you wouldn't. I don't think you'd be blamed for that. I mean, when we rock out the beehive and the black see-through blouses and the leather waistcoats and the tight black trousers, I think he purposely personifies the incarnation of a terrible decision on a drunk night. Like, I'll be honest, but I think that was the vibe that you wanted to go with. Like, it was his look, it was his niche. But yeah, 100%, man. I mean, yeah, give him a wash.
It's almost like incredibly charming as well.
Yeah,
he's incredibly charming. Like, he knows what to say to chat with a girl.
Oh, guaranteed. His comedy, the way that he would speak on his podcast and things, that you can see he's got the silver tongue. 100%.
Sorry to interrupt you, Kat.
Oh, sorry. Nice to talk to you, Louise. Nice to talk to you. It's been brilliant.
Oh, you too. What were you going to say? Sorry.
Oh, do you know, he reminds me of a friend of mine I used to have for many years. And it's just like how she used to act, exactly the same. But I've got a posh telephone voice. I'm talking very well and watching my P's and Q's.
Love it.
Please do not swear.
Yeah, exactly right.
You're on Channel 4.
Yeah, exactly. Please do not. Do you know what I'm saying? Those are the ones. But look, Kat, thanks for joining us. I just want to give Louise a chance to wrap up. But thank you for your time. And I'll pop you back in the nether realm, mate. Thank you lots. Well, Louise, look, thank you for joining us. I think it was an honest, really honest take on insight into a man's world that most of us won't get to peek behind the corner of. You were in a demographic that sadly seems to be mistreated at that period of his life. And I know that all the support and love goes out to you from the side chat and of course from all of us here. And I just want to say thank you for doing this.
That's okay. I just feel so sad for everyone involved. I even have sympathy for him. It's just such a sad situation, and it's going to get worse, isn't it? So, well, the court case and everything.
The truth has to come out.
It'll be interesting to see how it pans out.
Yeah, the truth has to come out. It has to. And I just want to say thank you to everyone in the side chat. Thank you to everybody here. I'm going to stick around. I just want to touch base with the boss and see where he's at, because there was mention of him possibly popping on at the end with Jen and possibly a surprise guest, and I just want to check on that. But Louise, thank you so much for being here, and
no problem.
We'll speak to you again, and have a good evening. Thank you.
Okay, Ron. Take care.
Cheers.
Bye.
All right, everyone. Really unique take. If anybody else wants to come on, by the way, and ask questions, I'll still pull people in. You're very much welcome to still come and join. Bear with me for 2 minutes. I just need to make a quick voice message to the boss, and then I'll be right back with everybody in just a second. That is not the right button. That is still not the right button. I pushed the wrong button again. Give me a second. My system is so slow. In fact, we'll go old school. Just bear with me, everybody. I will not be much longer. Just bear with me. Let's see if the boss man picks up. Thank you, Larks. I do try. I do think he's busy. He's at a family event. There we go. Well, not a family event. He's having a little supper, shall we say. But yeah, listen, if you guys want to join the Discord, come and have a little chat with me, you're welcome to do that. If you guys want to put a question in the side chat, you're welcome to do that as well. We're hitting about 9:30. We usually have Surviving Life on a Friday due to Azria being in a really scary state. We're going to move that to Friday, to Sunday this week, sorry. And yeah, that's okay. You were hearing the ringing. That was on purpose. But there may be another stream put back up tonight. I would just rather keep this a clean interview than waffle on for an hour, then have Sean come on and this being this big block of waffle in the middle. So that's probably what's going to happen. But I'm more than happy to hang around and take some questions or see if anyone has any points of view they want to come and give over on Twitter. And yeah, absolutely. It's been a really, really good night. And I just want to say there was some heated, fiery questions and opinions in the side chat. We encourage you guys here to speak your mind. Some of you could do it a little bit more delicately and politely, but that's okay. We're not an echo chamber, and I just hope we all know that. So, and Ron's got thick skin, so don't worry that if you criticize me one day and say that I'm doing okay the next, it's an issue. So, yeah. No, so why are you saying sorry? Why are you saying sorry? What have you done, Anne? Anne? What have you done, Anne? I'm just kidding. You are 100% an echo chamber. Incorrect. Incorrect. What's your thoughts on Russell? It's too... Listen, Ron's brain is so messed up that I can't give you a simple answer. I have to give you answers based off perimeters. So, or based off of a key set of circumstance. In the reality where this is all real, okay, and the victims are real, and we're looking at a monster, I would want to know two things, right? Are we about to see a huge number of victims coming forward that would suggest that we're looking at a serial horror, or are we looking at a period of time where these events are contained? Because for me, on the whole data thing, I need to know something like that for where to put you on the evil sphere. Do you see what I mean? I'm not justifying anything. I'm not making excuses. But man, if this is all real, what a freaking play, man. Like, if this is all real, what a play. On the other side, I could sit here for the next hour talking about conspiratorial things that are kind of facty, if you know what I'm saying. So for me, I need more information. It's very dangerous when we have anonymous individuals. We have allegations, and we're going to see what happens. But I just need you to understand that we're in a world where what we're talking about here is one person's encounter against another. So what is it that's brought it to this charges realm? And I think that's what we all need to wait and see. Because right now, we all really don't know anything. We know what has been put out there. You know, and again, it sounds harsh again, but when we look at facts that are kept from us, when we look at the grander picture of conspiracy and government involvement, political views, and we look at history and how people like John Lennon and individuals who have been taken out, or name anybody that you want, when they have a voice that goes against the system. So there's a lot of ways that we can answer that, Vanessa, and sadly, all of them are terrible. So very unsatisfying answer for you, I'm sure, but I do apologize. It's too complicated for me to give you a simple answer. You know, you want to be, if I'm objective, I don't know Russell Brand, never hung out with him. I know what he does online. I've seen what he was like before. I've heard Louise's statement. So that's what I've got to go by. You know, So yeah. Okay, so if everybody would just like to get a bit hippy dippy with me, and everyone who knows Azria is a very well-known guest and co-host on the channel. She is very, very ill right now, and all of you mages, witches, warlocks out there, please project your most healing of healing light to her. You know, please. And do you know what else, Vanessa? I think I'm like that because of my investigation past, where I've investigated people where you would think are monsters and it turns out they're not. And I've investigated people who you would never think are monsters and they turn out to be that. And I think my ability to wait until I react emotionally to something is maybe where I sometimes come off as insensitive, if that makes sense. So, yeah. All right. So there may be another live stream that gets put up. And I just want to say thank you to everybody. Please share this. Please like this. Please push this out. And I just want to say thank you all for being awesome. You an ex-copper, Rocco. Ron, that's my real name, Rocco. Ron, no. I'm currently no, I'm kidding. But no, obviously not. Jesus Christ. Yeah. But I will see you all in the next one. And keep an eye on. And again, I'm sorry if Sean was here and there was a couple other people, I'd keep it going because there'd be a lot. In fact, let's have a look and see if there's any updates. That's what Sean would do. He'd be like, boom, read a thing. Nailed it. All right, mate, I will. Okay. Okay, let's check if there's any updates here. Four hours ago, Russell Brand charge. 2 hours ago, charge. It's just all the same stuff. Yeah, no updates yet, guys. All right, everybody, thank you all for being here. If you're on the Discord, come and join it. Be social. Let's all get to know each other, all that good stuff. If there is another live going up, you'll hear about it very, very soon. And yeah, I just want to say thank you all for being awesome. You really are the best community ever. And without you guys, none of this works. We're just crazy people talking on the internet. So make sure you like and subscribe. Come and check out some of the other topics and other content that we produce. We love to hear your thoughts, and we love to make sure you guys have got something to keep your content desires fueled. So thank you for being here. We'll see you in the next one, my G's. Peace out.